Bend.
In the last 3 years, Mr. Speaker, this government's first-time homebuyers program has only approved 13,000 applications. The Shared Equity Mortgage Program, 9 applications. The Housing Co-Investment Fund has been so poorly executed, organizations have stopped applying altogether. But not to worry, Mr. Speaker. This minister and this Prime Minister have repeatedly said they are doubling down on their failed programs. So why should Canadians believe that they should ever be able to afford a home under this Prime Minister?
Great question.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, housing prices are a real concern, especially for middle-class Canadians hoping to afford their first homes. That's why, since we brought in 2017's National Housing Strategy, we've seen millions of families move into new homes supported by government programs. And through Budget 2022, we're making further investments to double housing construction this decade, help Canadians buy their first home, curb unfair practices that drive up the price of housing, and support the construction of affordable housing. We recognize, Mr. Speaker, there is still more to do, and we will continue to do it. That's what Canadians expect of us.
The Honourable Member for Kenora.
Well, Mr. Speaker, it used to be the case that if you worked hard, got a good job, and saved up for it, you could expect to afford a home in Canada. That's right. But this government's housing strategy has been to spend more money creating more bureaucratic programs that have actually caused housing prices to double since they have taken office. Mr. Speaker, this is leading many in my generation to completely give up on their dream of home ownership. So will the Prime Minister recognize that his policies have failed young Canadians, adjust course, and implement a real plan to address this housing crisis?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, after a couple of weeks in this House, I'm happy to hear a question that actually goes to the heart of Budget 2022, because we put forward a housing plan that focuses on 3 things, particularly for young Canadians. First of all, to help young Canadians save for a down payment on a first home with a historic tax-free savings account to help with the purchase of a first home. Second, we're going to cut down on speculation by bringing in a ban on foreign buyers and crack down on unfair practices like blind bidding. And third, we're going to increase the supply of housing in Canada for this young generation by working with municipalities with historic investments once again to double the new housing starts over the coming decade.
Mr. Speaker, the thing that's concerning Canadians in Papineau, Louise Saint Laurent, and everywhere in Canada is inflation. The cost of living keeps going up. We now see that we've reached 6.7%. That's unacceptable. And in France, it's much less bad, only 4.1%. Why? Well, for example, France has frozen tariffs. We know that this government doesn't care about that kind of thing. It's increased the carbon tax. Could this Prime Minister rise and tell Canadians that he will freeze tariffs? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, I'm disappointed to hear from one of our Quebec colleagues that he's against a price on pollution. We know that placing a price on pollution and making sure that it's not free to pollute is important for people in Papineau and for people throughout Canada. We know that pricing pollution is the right thing to do for the years and generations to come. And at the same time, Mr. Speaker, we are investing to give more money back to the provinces where we are pricing pollution, and we are also investing in families, for example, with childcare spots.